Good morning and happy Tuesday, everybody. How is everyone doing? Let's see who is in here. Started a little early this morning. I don't know if it's from being sick or just the busyness of the season. The weather's warmer, a lot of different things going on. I will get back to just the regular 9 a.m. every morning. And then if we have a later show, then do it in the evening. Will happen. I don't know when. Things have been crazy. So, how is everyone doing? It is 78 degrees here right now. It's a little cloudy out. So, I'm really enjoying that break from the heat. Also, enjoying Venetia Ellis, new member, 2:27 a.m. this morning. Going to assume that's from the Dylan Rounds show yesterday. I appreciate that very much, everybody that was in for that. That is a crazy case and tons to discuss. I can't wrap my mind around all of it, but we will get there. Uli Girl, good morning. Fun to ski, how are you? Preschool Granny, hello, Okie Bree. I've been checking out Grandis's aliases. I don't know if it's true, but in my opinion, Celeste resembles Warren Hare. A lot of people have said that. And a lot of people are saying this is all a lie. She has no aliases. Well, we've seen them. It's been floating around. Now, there are some websites that don't seem very reputable for me, but the ones that are all have the same aliases. You came to the right spot. We're going to discuss that. Diane, good morning. How are you? There's our friend Magoo. Aggie, what's up, Aggie? How are you doing? Alibis and little lies. How are you? There's Chris, two Boston moms. She was in the show yesterday, had killer comments, loved it. Shandia, good morning. Just me, how are you? There's our friend Kat, who had an excellent show yesterday. Excellent show regarding Grandis. You guys have to check it out. I'll link it in here in a second. Good morning, Shannon. Good morning, Jennifer. Good morning, Bailey. Hey, Eddie, what's going on? Haven't seen you in a while. Hello, Aunt B. How are you? Let me turn my phone down. Goodness. Nobody ever wants to talk to me, do anything until I have something to do. Comrie Mom, good morning. Lisa, good morning. Let's see what our friend Kat is up to this morning. Long time no see on panel, Kat. How are you?
Really great and great to be back. Thank you so much for having me up today, Brooks. It's 87 degrees here at the moment, which doesn't sound too hot, but there's no sunshine. The air is thick. Honestly, you could cut it with a knife. It's so humid. I'm finding it quite hard to cope, but I'm here and let's do a great show.
The humidity is what really, and I think that's what makes people sick in the summertime. I really do. I think that air just becomes so thick. Here we call it air you can wear.
Air you can wear. Yeah, that's a really great thing. I might actually use that. Thanks. It's really humid. Horrible.
Air you can wear. So we're going to try to keep this to about an hour and a half. And of course, we will continue to talk about it because there's a lot to discuss.
Oh, there's a lot.
A lot. So before we get to the comments from the last show, which are always incredible because you guys are the best, Chris McDonough did a show Sunday night. Not a lot of new information, really no new information, except for Grandis does have a record, which has always been speculated about, but the aliases, which we'll get to in a little bit. So her stomping her feet and swearing to everybody that she's the only pure white snowflake in the whole family, I believe that our guesses were correct that she's not.
Yeah, you think? Well, it didn't take too much to find out that she did actually have aliases, didn't it, really?
Didn't take long. I mean, I can't believe it didn't come out before.
Well, there was no way on God's earth, and that was my point yesterday, is there was no way on God's earth that there was going to be one pure person in that family that had never been in trouble, never had any record, never had anything to hide from. She's already got one missing daughter, for goodness sake. She's got two older grandchildren that have spent their entire life in care. So she's not going to be the purest white of snow. But there were people clearly came out defending her every step of the way. And now it seems that we might just have a few of her aliases.
has aliases, and anyone that could defend her after that interview she gave on
Mhm.
WJHL, shame on you. If her
Yep,
daughter doesn't give a shit, that's one thing. She's the grandma. She is the
exactly.
grandma. She knew that her two
Mhm.
grandchildren, Candace's oldest children, were abused in foster care. She
Yep.
didn't care. She didn't do one thing to try to save those children. She let
Not
them
at all.
bounce from foster care to foster care. The daughter ran away.
Mhm. And
Anyone
let's
that
be honest.
saw that interview that was a-okay with her demeanor,
Yeah.
you got to screw loose.
Yeah. And also she, didn't even take care of her own kids. She abandoned her own kids when they were kids to go
Yeah.
live with a woman. So it's not likely that she's going to not care about her own kids and then really, really care about her grandkids, is it? She's just not a child type person, really, I guess.
I just think she's just a very selfish,
Hard-nosed.
self-absorbed, she's going to take care of her, period. She's a survivor type
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, it's self-preservation society, isn't it, with Grandis? In fact, with all of them, but especially with Grandis, the one person that you would think, if she wasn't involved, then she could speak up because she knows. I believe she knows what happened that day. Her and Candace were the two last people to have eyes on Summer. So realistically, there's no way that she doesn't even know or was involved in what happened that day. I don't care how many times she tells us she went for a nap in the camper or she doesn't know what water park they went swimming in that day. Fact is, she knows more and she's just protecting herself at this point.
And we're going to get to that because her events of the day, um, even with the ER involved,
Mm-hmm.
cannot possibly be near anywhere of what went on. We're
No.
talking about the day your granddaughter went missing.
Yeah, that convenient memory loss that they all seem to suffer from on that day.
She's
Time.
defiant, she's rude, she's
Yeah.
unforgiving, she's dismissive. Like I said, she's got, like you said, the self-preservation, the survivalist mentality.
Yeah.
I'm sure it comes from a place. Don't get me wrong.
There'll be a reason for it, but by the same score, is it just does she not ever worked out that this is not helpful in terms of other people in her life? Obviously not.
But she'll push hell to the side to maintain herself.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hence why
Oh,
she is
she's all
no
right.
suspect. They have never said, yeah, it looks like she was taking a nap. She's all good. No, she's a suspect.
Yep.
I hate to tell these people
Everyone's
that
a
are shouting from the
suspect.
mountaintop right now to defend her. She's a suspect, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't tell me that you're a
Everyone.
lot of summer and you're okay with this woman.
Mm-hmm. There's no way that you can even care about a child in your own life, I don't believe, and look at that woman and think that how she's treated her own children and her grandchildren is okay in any way, shape, or form, even if it's just through her absence, her emotional absence, her physical absence, and her negligence of her own children, followed by her grandchildren. That's still a selfish ass person, in my opinion.
Oh, very.
It's still a person that if you care about kids, you can't look at that and think that she's okay. That's
Mhm.
okay.
Looking at Bob's comment, maybe Grandis is
Ooh.
where the term colder than a mother-in-law's kiss came from.
Boom. Great
Very,
comment.
very cold, does not care person. Like I
Yeah.
said, Candace, we got past it pretty quick because pretty pretty sure she's involved there somewhere. Grandis,
Yeah.
different story. If you truly just took a nap and your granddaughter was snatched out from under you,
Hmm.
you could not, we couldn't shut you up. It
Right.
didn't happen.
Right.
That didn't
Right.
happen, Grandis. That didn't happen. You want to go through some comments from the last show?
Absolutely. Let's
Let's
go.
do it. Great video, by the way. By the way, guys, Kat made that video, and I love playing it every day.
You're welcome. I enjoy it too.
Sarah said the biggest thing when speaking on someone else's child is that you use some decorum. We're talking about Jody Sue here.
Okay.
Decorum and Jody Sue. Kind of like Superman and kryptonite. But anyway, she should not be talking nasty about a child in the first place, much less a missing child.
Uh-huh.
This has bothered people, shaken them to the core. But not only is she talking about children in general, she's specifically talking about Summer Wells, who disappeared from her neighborhood directly across the road almost 13 months. She speaks about her as if she is a character in a book,
Yeah.
as if she never existed. And what's even worse, she talks about Summer Wells as if she never mattered.
Yeah. Yeah. She's just one of many adults in Summer's life, unfortunately, that speaks about Summer in that way. Just find it disgusting.
And the show is not about Jody Sue. I am just looking at the comments from the last show. Sorry, Kat, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say she has actually recently promised that she's going to turn her channel into a calling out people that mess about with missing children investigations channel.
She would be the first guest.
That's what I would say.
She would be the first guest. Absolutely. She is the first guest. She's the only guest because she has done more damage to this case than all of Dawn and Candace's spins. Grandis taking a nap and worrying about her knee. She has done way more damage than anybody. Hands down, she is too dense or doesn't care to realize that when Leslie, with the TBI on June 15th, 2022, the day of the 1-year anniversary, when Leslie was addressing everybody, and she said, we are aware that there are people purposely spreading misinformation for their own gain, monetary gain. She was not talking about anybody except Jody.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. Thought that at the time, and I still think it now. She's never proved me wrong.
Oh, no, she does not dispel how nasty. No, she does not. Nope, not at all. Lacrete Blue, what a cool name. She said, Jody Sue is about dangling the carrot to prolong the agony of suspense so that she can continue to have a source of revenue. I believe this 100%. It's about covering up the truth with lies to make a dirty buck or two, and she has done it, and she has done it successfully. Jody, what is your career plan after this?
Yeah, same. I've said it myself as well. I absolutely believe that 100%. She has no more information, but what she continuously does is sit there and dangle a carrot in front of people saying, oh, you know, today I might release some more information about my cards. And I said it in my video the other day, Summer needs your cards. She needed your cards on June 15th. You don't have to sit there and keep promising to show your cards. Just go give your cards to law enforcement. How about that?
How about that? They were directly across the street from you, dumbass. June 15th, they were very, 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 very present around your home for many weeks. You had 24 hours to get with one of them and show them your cards, but you said you're hanging on to them. I don't know what they could arrest her on because we know she's full of hot air. But boy, I tell you what, I'd be chomping at the bit to find something.
If she does have those cards and she's not willing, for Summer's sake, to go give her cards to law enforcement, then I only see one other reason why she would do that. And that's because the more she mentions this information that she's going to drip feed over the next God knows how long, the more people that are going to come in and give her super chats for the pleasure of waiting all of that time for her to string a sentence together, in my opinion.
And they do. And they will hang on every single word. It's not because she's interesting. I even think that some of these people particularly like her, per se. I honestly think they think that at some point she is going to let something slip about Summer. I feel bad for these people that they're dedicating this type of time for her game.
Do you know who I feel sorry for? Summer. Because at any point, if she really genuinely had information that would have helped Summer's case, and she sat on it for 13 months so that she can make money off of YouTube, the person that harms most is Summer. Because if she had cleared this up, the information that she has within the first 24 hours, we possibly wouldn't be sat here trying to listen to Jody Sue, or whatever she just got called, slurring her words for 13 months. We would know what happened to Summer by now.
Absolutely. And then I think about what is kind of obvious to me, but you never know in this case. The people that are definitely involved, Candace namely, don't seem to be jarred by Jody going live for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 hours a night. The most they've said is she's stupid, she doesn't know anything. They don't seem to be threatened by her at all. That tells me all I need to know. She doesn't know anything.
Exactly.
Would Candace be spitting mad? And we know Candace can get mad. If Jody was about to spill all the beans, would she not be more defensive, aggressive? Would she not be screaming?
Possibly. But then again, is Candace not similar to her mother in terms of the fact that it's all about self-preservation? She's hiding. Candace is in hiding right now. She hasn't got Don to fight her corner or be her mouthpiece or speak up for her, because obviously Don's inside. She's ruined her. She burnt all of her bridges with every single YouTuber that was ever willing to have her up on their panel or whatever. So realistically, she's either afraid of Jody Sue in terms of she's hiding away from her, or like you say, Jody Sue knows nothing. And I'm quite tempted to believe that Jody Sue doesn't know anything, because if she did know anything and she could have cleared it up 13 months ago and she didn't, then that in itself should be a criminal offence. Whether it is or not, I don't know, but it should be.
It should
withholding information that could have protected the child.
I just don't think Jody Sue, as much as she likes attention, if she really knew something, could hang on to it this long. And if law enforcement truly believes she knew something, they wouldn't just let her sit there and keep doing this.
Yes. I mean, they have questioned her several times. I believe they have. But I believe they've released her after those several times because she doesn't know anything. I mean, there's only, how many times can you question someone until you figure out that actually they don't know anything, and they're just sitting there making money off of false information for their own financial gain, like Leslie Earhart said.
That's exactly what they're doing. On the last show, the show that I'm reading these comments from, I played the clip from WJHL where Jody gave her exclusive interview, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And Lawson, they interviewed him, same interview, and he said, we've talked to her several times. So basically he's saying, we've talked to this woman. She has nothing. She has nothing for us. That's all I need to know about Jody.
Well, exactly. And if they say that she's got nothing and they've interviewed her several times, why the hell are people still sitting there hoping that at some point she's going to spill something she knows about June the 15th when she quite clearly doesn't know anything? Exactly. And if she does know something, then why are people sitting there encouraging her to spend another 13 months drooling into her Subway cup instead of asking her to give what she knows to the TBI? You know, you can't have it both ways, can you?
Nope. And she's been fully encouraged to do that. That's when she doubled down. That's why we have the new thing now. She's holding on to her cards. It's just more of an allure to her channel. I only talked about her because of the crazy accusations she made. It had to be addressed. I think we can all put it to bed, at least here. I can't speak for other communities. She doesn't know anything. She doesn't know anything.
She knows nothing. She knows nothing. And more, to be honest, a fool and their money is easily parted. So I hate to call people fools, but if you're paying to listen to that for another 13 months in the hope that she's going to say something, please don't come to me crying about it, because all I'm going to say is I told you so at the end of the day.
Yeah. And God bless these people that are hanging around, because you can go to work and make more money, but you can't make more time. And you're losing a lot of time on this. You're losing a lot of time. All right. Plead the Fifth said she wasn't tending flowers. She was waiting for Andy to pick her up. Lord have mercy, the lies. We were just talking about this cat. She says she has all these receipts. Okay, so what we've seen is she wasn't on high alert. Nothing seemed to be disturbing her that day. It seems like a regular, for them, conversation and just a regular day between her and Andy, these text messages. You go.
Yep, I've read them all several times, and to me, the way I've analysed them, I guess, is that she spent a lot of time telling Andy exactly what she thinks, feels, sees, smells, hears, etc. during those text messages. Every time his most response is like, okay, because I mean, he's a man of very few words. And at no point during that day on June the 15th in any of those text messages did she make any reference at all to hearing a scream, or did she make any reference to the fact that their neighbour's daughter had gone missing. Yet she was quite happy to tell him the ins and outs of how she could hear the tree cutters and what time they started and when they went, all of that kind of stuff, but not the important details. So she shows it as a receipt. As far as I'm concerned, that's not a receipt. Well, it is a receipt. It's a receipt that you heard nothing and you saw nothing on that day. That's what it's a receipt of.
Exactly. She's got a receipt that shows she knows nothing.
Exactly.
Then I go to this comment. I'm skipping around on the comments.
Okay.
Sunflower said maybe she did say something. She's given her the benefit of the doubt. Okay, fine. Maybe she is the one who called CPS. She can't tell everyone on YouTube because she would be labeled a snitch. Here's my problem with this. We're going to agree to disagree like we do famously on this channel. She wouldn't care. She laughs about being a suspect, which I don't think she is. I don't think she is a suspect. Do you know why? Because they have questioned her, gotten rid of her. She has nothing to offer, never took her phone. Even with the salacious BS she brought out a couple weeks ago, they still didn't have any concern with her.
Nope.
She wants this notoriety. She would love to be the snitch. She would love to come out and say, I was the one that called CPS.
Oh, I totally agree with you, Brooks. I can't even tell you. I totally agree with you. There's two reasons why she's inserted herself this closely into the middle of an active investigation. One is for the money and two is for the infamy, because that's all she's doing is making herself infamous in this case. She has nothing to offer, and yet she's sitting there making money hand over fist and becoming one of the most hated people in the whole YouTube community and in the whole Beach Creek community, probably. And she does not care. She's happy about it.
She's happy about it. She sees herself someday writing a book. Nope. We've already heard your goods, girlfriend. Nobody's going to spend any money on that. She being the insider that Dateline wants to talk to. No, they're pretty smart over there. They've got pretty smart producers, and they're going to figure out real quick that you were the shit stirrer. They don't want to talk to you.
Nope. Well, she's also said that she wants to change her channel focus at the point where Summer's found to a Amber Heard domestic violence awareness channel, and one that campaigns against people missing child cases. That's going to be the focus of her channel moving forward.
And she'll have no one. The only reason people are there is for Summer Wells.
That she doesn't talk to any other missing children, does she?
Oh, no, she has no time for that. But that hurt, doesn't it, Jody? They're not there for you.
Right.
They don't care about you and Andy's fights. They act like they do to keep you going. They're there for Summer. That's the only hope that I have in the true crime community, that most people are there for Summer.
Yep.
They really want to see an end to all this.
Well, that's why she won't put anything that she does know, if she does know anything. That's why she won't put it out, because as soon as the situation is resolved, people will quit paying her money, and then she doesn't have money. And as soon as the money dries up, she's not even going to have the infamy. In a few months after the case is resolved, people will be saying, do you remember when Jody Sue? And people will be like, who's Jody Sue? Who are you talking about? No one's going to know her name.
You are exactly right. I was thinking about that the other day. I don't know why, but I was like, does she not realize? I mean, I don't think that she's a true crime case follower, like, the rest of that. Let's say Candace is arrested today. They make an announcement. This is where we're going, blah, blah. She'll be able to squeeze a few more shows out. Yeah. She will fade away and she's done. Yeah. Nobody will be like, hey, Jody, just checking to see how no, she'll be done.
Nope.
Nobody will want to hear from her, because at that point, we're going to know everything I already know, you already know, that her audience is going to realize that what she did was string them along for nothing. And we hope they're pissed when that happens.
Yep. And then when she becomes irrelevant and has to fade back into insecurity, she doesn't have any money coming in either, does she? So it's not in her, she's not motivated even to put out any information that she does have, because she knows as soon as this case is solved, her money source dries up, her revenue dries up. She might actually have to get off her ass and go get a job or something, you know, because she has nothing else to talk about.
Nothing else. Nope. I'm pretty sure she gets disability or something like that. I mean, she's just got to, with all the, illnesses she says she has. I am not saying anything about anyone that has to draw disability. I feel bad for anyone that has health ailments. I'm just saying that's probably what she's got going on.
But is it actually, I don't know, because I don't know the law, but is it okay to be claiming disability and earning an income from YouTube? Is that okay?
Up to a certain amount. That's why I wonder where this money's really going. Is it going in her son's account?
Right.
Did she set up an account for her daughter? That's what I want to know, because up to it, you can only earn up to a certain amount.
Right.
And then they're like, well, you're working. You don't need disability.
Exactly.
So that has always been a big question mark in my mind.
Yep. I agree, Brooks.
4 days ago, Patty said, there's no with a capital N, no way these people on that hill are smart enough to outwit law enforcement, TBI, FBI, and all the people who have strong opinions about the truth of what happened to beautiful Summer. So this has to involve many. I could not agree more. And that leads us in to what Chris McDonough said Sunday night. Go ahead, Kat.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that leads us into what Chris McDonough says Sunday night, but I think you just said it.
Are you reading my mind?
I know, yeah, I'm doing that psychic thing.
Really, when I read that comment, I'm like, wow, this girl's got a crystal ball. I mean, we've always said more people are involved. Not going to shock me if it was Candace and only Candace, especially when Pruitt told us the CPS case has bled over into this. I still don't know what that means, and I'm dying to know. I can speculate all day, but we won't know until everything's released. So we watched McDonough on Sunday. Great show. As always, great work. Of course, there's the people, I don't like Chris McDonough. He's not expecting you to put him, Karen, and Dill on your Christmas card list.
100%. You have to like him.
No, he's not looking for friends. He made it clear, I'm not going away. I'm going to continue to investigate this case. He's like, TBI knows it. Hawkins County knows it, which there's people there that he talks to. They don't talk to me.
Nope.
Very interesting, something he said. He was really honing in on Grandis, which she's getting a turn. She's getting a turn on the wheel today. Dawn, of course, he's not going to ever get off Dawn. Rightfully so. Candace, rightfully so. She was the one home. She was the adult in charge while Sleeping Beauty was getting her Z's.
Yep.
Okay, so Candace, you're not getting out of this. But he said, and a peripheral person. I don't believe that peripheral person is Jody Sue, because law enforcement doesn't even have the time of day to talk to her. Yeah. Who is the peripheral person?
I feel like it's somebody that Chris has either spoken to, wants to speak to, or has looked into since this case has begun. I mean, there's certain people that I think it's not, but I'm interested in a couple of names. I think the Tim guy, Andy, perhaps. There's a few people on the periphery, if you like, that have been subject to kind of, people doing deep dives and looking into them. And I just wonder if it's any of those people. I'm not saying it is, by the way. I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just trying to theorize on who it could be.
Yeah, no accusations here. Speculation, maybe. I do look at media manager too. He has referred to Dawn as his human boss many times.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you do what your boss tells you. Now, even though Tim came along after Summer went missing, I don't believe he was anywhere on that property in cahoots with the Wells and Grandis the day of the 15th He came along after, like cement, inserted himself. You're not going to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, Chris
he
made
could
reference to
have
him.
some knowledge of something that he's not going to give up. He could have done some cover up. We remember the whole, rigmarole with the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
He wipes the phone clean and then takes it to Candace wrapped up in a plastic bag. What's all that about?
Yeah, I mean, that whole thing was just dodgy as hell. I guess it's one of those things that does it relate to the 15th of June or the days preceding the 15th of June? And I don't know about that. I don't actually think that Tim Mullen met Candace and them until, well, he says he met them at the when Candace was holding the banner at the festival. But the interesting thing about Tim Mullen that I thought in conjunction with Chris's show is that he did actually name him at one point. He said, and then there's that Tim guy and I really want to speak to him. And it was just a passing comment, but I picked up on that. And then when he said about the people, the one on the periphery, I was thinking, that's just why he came into my mind, is because Chris had sort of said that he was keen to talk to him.
I remember that now because the way he said it was in passing yet tongue-in-cheek. I'd really like to talk to that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one thing, as much as he is trying to supposedly help,
Yeah.
he stays way away. He won't talk to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wondered why he would take the banner up knowing this little girl is missing, not just let law enforcement do their job. When people say, oh, because he's the media manager, he's helping them. Oh, shut up.
Well, he wasn't the media manager on June the 15th.
Leslie with the TBI is the media liaison. Right. She would have no issue helping them. None. She'd be like, I got you. What do you want to say?
Exactly.
It's her job.
Mm-hmm. And also a media manager that can't even manage a Facebook page doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence, but just me.
Fourth grader could have made that website. Mm-hmm. So the newest thing on the website, it's about law enforcement and don't get your news from Facebook, YouTube. And I'm like, oh my God. You first, idiot.
Just like, I'm a media manager. And my page is on Facebook. I insist you don't look at any news on Facebook. What the hell are you talking about?
I know. And I'm like, you're the media manager, so you're basically telling people not to listen to you?
Yeah. Way to promote yourself, Tim. Great work.
Genius. Genius. So then I go into, Chris said a peripheral person. It was not strange, but it was telling the way he phrased that. All right. Yeah. So basically someone out of the corner of your eye. Okay. Let's go with the metaphor. Let's take him at his word.
Yeah.
It was very random, very out of the blue, when he released the unedited interview with Hunter.
Yep.
For Hunter, it didn't have the name bleeped out anymore, and he said Andy. Mm-hmm. It's not Hunter's dad. He was in New York. Mm-hmm. You have an Andy across the street. He's accounted for that day. He was at work all day. We don't know if there was something leading up to the 15th that Andy could have been a part of, or even after. Remember, if these people are swapping drugs back and forth, they got their own transactions going, Andy's not going to be very forthcoming as to how well he knows them.
No, it's not going to be something they're shouting about from the rooftops.
Sorry, go ahead. I was talking.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was just saying it's not going to be something that they shout from the rooftops, is it? Oh, yeah, I know how I know them because I sell them drugs.
Yeah, no, especially since he's already been hung up for that before. He doesn't want to go back through that again.
No.
So I really wonder if the peripheral person, not saying he is responsible for her disappearance, but maybe something leading up to. I don't know.
Well, it's interesting because my first thought when he said about the peripheral person was Jody Sue. But then, like we just discussed a minute ago, Jody Sue doesn't really know anything, and law enforcement don't obviously think she knows anything either. So, perhaps we could just rule her out of the peripheral people. But who has she been trying to out? Andy, because she's been, making up all this stuff that's in her head about Andy and throwing his name out there, although she did call him Voldemort or Coleslaw or Monster or some weird nickname like that for the longest time. But it would just be interesting because I think recently Chris McDonough was trying to put out that he wanted to interview Andy. And he wanted to do an interview with Andy. Now, whether he'll be successful in getting that or not, it's quite interesting that he puts out there's a peripheral person, puts out Andy's name in his unredacted interview with Hunter, and then wants to do an interview with Andy, and then mentions a peripheral person. I just wonder if that's
I'm dying to know who he's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Also, last week, Court TV, Chris McDonough was on there, everybody's teddy bear best friend, talking to Vinny, and Vinny couldn't say shit if he had a mouth full of it. He was like, what? That's the house? That's her room? It's been over a year? Can you believe it's been over a year? Like everything that's hitting his brain is coming right out his mouth. And Chris said, no, I can't believe it's been over a year. He couldn't really explain, but he seemed to allude to my biggest frustration, with the exception of Summer being missing, still the misinformation.
Yeah. I haven't actually seen that. I really need to go catch up with that because I haven't watched it yet. But people can diss Chris McDonough all day long, but the thing is, he does have firsthand. He has seen it firsthand. He's seen it for himself. Mm-hmm. What that area is like. Who Don and Candace, how they lived, what their children's bedrooms were like, all of this kind of stuff. He's seen it himself. So we can sit here and speculate, but he has actually been up there and said it and seen it for himself. So I kind of, even if you don't 100% believe or trust or like Chris McDonough, the fact is his footage, as far as I'm concerned, speaks for itself.
I'm so glad you said that, because like him or hate him, he has brought the most in this case to the forefront for us, at least. I don't mean for law enforcement, because they have a file that's going to look totally different than what he brought out.
Yeah.
He has brought the most. We didn't know about the events of June 15th.
No.
We had like little bits from Candace, of course, and I'm sure she wished she'd left it that way. Bet your bottom dollar she would have wished Chris McDonough would have never found Rogersville. Trust me. Because when he spoke to Hunter, that changed everything.
Yeah.
Because for about a month and a week, I guess, I had a lot of people coming into chat defending the Wells.
Yeah.
How could you leave these people alone? I heard it every day. Some are still in here because they see it now. Yeah. Here comes the McDonough interviews, and suddenly it was, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was really hard to believe unless you saw it with your own eyes. And I think Chris going up there actually allowed us to see it with our own eyes. I don't think, to be fair, that it was any kind of bias or prejudice. He filmed inside that house. He showed what he saw on a camera.
He didn't ask prying questions. He let them tell the story. He put his thumb on Hunter a couple of times. I did notice that. Mm-hmm. What really bothered me, what really got me in the gut, was when he was in the dungeon and he was looking around, and he kind of took a deep breath, and he goes, I understand who Summer is now.
Right.
It's very hard to hear that sentence without crying.
Absolutely. And especially when you know that her own mother was calling that her playroom, and you saw the couple of cheap McDonald's toys that were her toys in that playroom. Mm-hmm. It was a real, when he said he understood Summer, I think that resonated with a lot of people, because I think we all understood Summer too in that moment.
But you know who didn't get it?
Candace.
Dumbass Candace, standing right there, just kind of throwing her arms around. Oh, no, Summer likes it. I'm like, good God, lady, do you not understand what he's saying?
Mm-hmm. She doesn't really pick up on those kind of cues, does she?
Doesn't apply to her ass. Mm-hmm. Nope. She doesn't remember what was going on that day. The day her daughter went missing. If it was traumatic for her and she blocked it all out, I honestly would believe her. But not when she's trying to fill in the puzzle, but yet purposely leaving things out. That tells me she knows everything about that day. Everything about that day. So now let's get to the elephant in the room. It seems like we get one about every week. It's never going to go away. And that we are back to Grandis.
Yep.
Good old Grandis.
Yep. It was quite interesting what Chris McDonough was saying the other day about her being the silent one all of this time. And the only times that she has come out to speak, she's not even mentioned Summer. It's not been about Summer. It's been about the trespassing complaint or whether she's got a lawyer or not, or it's all been about herself and protecting herself. Every single statement, not that she's made many, but every single time she has spoken out, it's always been about her own self.
And she has made sure to the people, which has not been very many, that she's gone back and forth with on Facebook Messenger. I've looked at every one of them, not really done any shows on them except for Emma's. Not because I don't believe these people, but because I don't believe Grandis.
No.
She has spread misinformation, albeit it's just through Facebook Messenger, but still, she is deflecting from the events of June 15th. She is. We've heard about the tainted orange pop. We all forgot about that, right? That she was given a pill. She was sick. Now, look, she's an active 5-year-old little girl.
Yeah.
What? She's not going to have a sudden heart attack unless she was really given something from across the street.
Yeah.
So what is it, Grandis? Spill it. If you're not involved, you're not involved.
And there's no reason on God's earth why you need to protect Candace if that's what you're doing. You know, she's not really giving you a reason to protect her. You know, if you're a grandmother, then you put your grandchild first. Don't put yourself first, and certainly don't put your daughter first.
No, and she didn't put her daughter first when her daughter was a young child.
Exactly.
She didn't put her daughter first when her daughter had the state of Wisconsin breathing down her neck because of the neglect and abuse of her 2 oldest children.
Yep.
She didn't put her daughter first when Summer went missing. Her 3 boys were taken by the state of Tennessee. She hitched up the camper and got the hell out of the state. Her excuse was it's her regular scheduled trip. Get real, Grandis. The reason she is doing this now is because she has some sort of involvement or knowledge she can't get away from. And I agree with whoever said it. I got to go back and find it. See, Care RN, glad to see you. Chris knows how to shake the tree and see who falls out. He does. He's good at what he does. So does Lawson. I know people can't stand Lawson. When I think about the day, and we're going to watch the interview in a second, not Lawson's, but the follow-up with Grandis, when he said, no, they're not talking. They're not cooperating. They have attorneys. That shook shit out of that tree because that old lady came out of the camper. I mean, look at the thumbnail. Look how pissed she is.
Yeah.
He has that, how dare you cross me?
Right.
How dare you cross me?
She's like the matriarch. She's like the matriarch.
We're going to watch the... No, you're fine. Going to watch the clip in a second. Her exact words were, as she shrugs her shoulders, which means she's just shrugging stuff off. Yep. This is no concern to her. It's a huge concern that she's mad. She's got a very obstinate, defiant personality. Rules don't apply to her, even though her granddaughter's missing. She's not going to help. Why would she? That's their job. That's her. That's how she is. She doesn't care.
Nope.
She might buy some new sweatpants to go to the funeral if it gets to that.
Yeah, she's got a lot of her own ass to cover right about now.
I mean, her own words were, they know how to get a hold of me. They know I'm here. They know what I'm not. No. That's not what they asked. Are you cooperating? Yeah. Then she was, last time I talked to him was in December when I called about the YouTubers.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, really? That's supposed to make us feel better that you were more concerned about not having your nap interrupted because some YouTubers were at the end of the driveway. That proved that you're not cooperating.
Exactly.
You crazy old bitch.
Talk about drop yourself in it. I mean, I'm so devastated about the loss of my granddaughter that the second that YouTubers come down the hill, I'm going to phone the cops about that, but never about my granddaughter. Yeah. Okay.
And I don't care who the YouTubers are she was talking about. Of course, we know who they were. If you care about your granddaughter, say, look, I can't get anything out of my daughter. I'm going to go down there and talk to him.
Yeah.
I'm going to drag my bum knee down that damn driveway and I'm going to talk to him.
Yep.
Hey, this is what you guys need to know. Go put this on your channel. There you go.
She's perfectly able to drive herself to Wisconsin and back twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
It's not beyond the realms of possibility that she could get in her truck, go down the police station and ask them for an update on what's happening with their granddaughter's disappearance.
Lord. Getting all wound up, Kat.
Okay, take a breath, Brooks. Let's watch the clip. It'll make you feel better.
Oh, I tell you what, this clip makes, just the disgust in Chris's voice.
Mm-hmm.
Where he shows Lawson talking about, no, they're not cooperating.
Yep.
They're not cooperating. And then he did show some clips from WJHL. And we've talked about this interview several times since it came out in March. I did kind of pat myself on the back a little bit when I heard Chris McDonough, and he was quite aghast as well that she was offended by the YouTubers. I was like, Chris, don't be copying me.
But yeah, no, you made the point. I mean, I thought it was a fair point.
No, I'm just kidding. That sticks out to anyone. You don't have to be a master at the game of Clue for that to stick out. So let's look at this real quick.
Josh and Sarah, as officers spent another day in a Beach Creek searching for Summer, I was out there yesterday and spent some time at the Wells family home on Ben Hill Road. Now, that's where Summer was reported missing from on June the 15th. I actually had the chance to speak with the missing girl's mother, Candace Bly, who again did not want to speak on camera with us, but I did have the opportunity to sit down with her grandmother, Candace Hare, who told me she wants people to hear about her family straight from the source.
That's why I come on camera, because I am sick and tired of the lies.
Missing Huck.
Nobody lied, Grandis. Now, some channels, yes, they have flat out lied about your family because they're not following what law enforcement has said and what has been reported from law enforcement by the media. Okay, we can't do anything about those people. We can't.
No. And also, realistically, how are they affecting your life, Grandus? Because you spend all your time in a different state or hiding in your camper. I mean, this was the thing that made you come out of your camper. Okay.
This is what made you, because out of everything that's been said, now, mind you, this was March. I think March 1st or 2nd is when this interview happened. So June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. All right.
Yep.
So going on 9 months of Summer's disappearance.
Yeah.
That's what got this old bag out of the camper, because Lawson said she's not cooperating.
Right.
She wasn't having it. She proved him right.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Grandis. We could have just not wasted his time and you just done this interview.
Yeah. Just skip straight to the interview.
You proved him right.
Mm-hmm.
Pickens County 6-year-old Summer Wells' grandmother, Candace Hare, says it was hard to speak on camera as she's been reliving a familiar nightmare.
Rose has been missing for 12 years. I miss her dearly. She's the baby of the family.
Hare's youngest daughter and Summer's aunt, Rosemarie Bly, went missing from Wisconsin on August 21st of 2009.
To go through it again with my granddaughter, Summer, is very heartbreaking. And that's what a lot of people don't understand, is what a parent goes through, what a grandmother goes through.
Okay, right there. Now, I see that she is lumping this in with Rose, and that is her excuse for not coming forward. I got to answer this real quick. Suzanne, yeah, we were just talking about the court TV. I really liked how that was. Chris did a great job, and I liked seeing all of you in chat. A lot of you anyway. Okay, so she's talking about what a parent goes through. People don't know. Well, you're saying you know, yet you have left your daughter hung out to dry, lady.
Yeah. That's how much you understand about what a mother goes through and what a grandmother goes through, is that you will let your daughter, you will change the script, flip the script completely on your daughter 9 months after the story that was made up at the time. You're not going to agree with that anymore. You want your say right now. Yeah, you know what it's like to go through a loss like that, don't you, Grandis? Obviously.
You know what it's like to go through a loss like that. But like I said, the minute that the boys are taken, she goes on about her trip. There's no other grandkids that she can see. Now, supposedly that's a personal choice. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Why is it a personal choice that she doesn't want to see Rose's children? Or,
But she wants to see Candace's children.
right.
Because she lived
Why?
with them, right?
Why? Seems to me that she doesn't at all. These people get in her way. She's a user.
Yeah,
When
she's
Dawn
kind of
said,
like the matriarch of the mafia or something. She kind of has that kind of, you will all obey me kind of demeanor about her, in my opinion.
oh yeah, you're going to obey her for sure. Well, let's go back to what Dawn said. She's the smartest one out of all of us.
Ain't that the truth? I think it's the only true thing that Don ever said, in my opinion.
That means a lot to me coming from Don, because I consider him a smart motherfucker. Wow. When he said that, I'm like, is he being sarcastic? And I realized he doesn't have that capacity.
Yeah.
So what is so smart about Grandis that they don't have between their ears? Suzanne, thank you for becoming a new YouTube member. Thank you. Thank you. Don't forget, guys, we have a members only live every Friday. Check the members tab. So now it comes out. I'm going to get back to the clip. On Sunday, she is the smartest one. Hell, she's been using aliases for years.
Yep, she's been using aliases. And also, if you think about it, who was the one that didn't come out on YouTube and try and talk themselves out of an abduction theory? She didn't speak for 9 months, so perhaps that does make her smart, in inverted commas, or smarter.
Oh, very smart. She knew not to talk to anybody. She knew to stay under the radar and just to spread enough seeds of information behind the scenes, thinking that would help. It didn't. It was ridiculous. What a ridiculous story. Tainted Pop, and she got sick, and they called Dawn. Come on, they would have had that sewed up in an afternoon.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on, you idiot. Can't do anything about it because she's just basically gossiping. I think it is a crime. I think it is a crime.
Obstruction of justice. Sorry, I was just taking a drink. Obstruction of justice is definitely a crime in this country.
It is here too. I don't know what we're waiting on. So here's a sample of her names. Okay. This is from it came from 3 different reputable websites, okay? 3 different ones.
Yep.
There are some that I don't think I would dig into. These are 3 reputable ones that employers actually use for background checks, okay?
Right.
So it has an address in Grantsburg, Wisconsin. Nobody needs the address, okay? We're not going to go sell cookies there. So the first name is Candace, Candusc Hair. Okay, so we all know that name, right?
Yep, that's the recognizable one.
Now we get into the next name. Candace, Candance Hair. So either she was born with the name Candance and changed it to Grandus, or she manipulated her first name along the way. I don't know. That is an alias that she has used. Then we have from her married life, which I don't consider to be an alias. It's her married name, Candace C. Bly.
Yep. Spelled with the US, right?
Do what? Yes, with a US.
Yeah.
And this is on Kat's community tab on her channel.
Yep, sure is.
Didn't feel a need to put it up twice when Kat's doing all the work, if you know what I mean.
Sorry, I had to put it up because I had so many people coming at me telling me that Grandus did never have an alias. So I was just like, well, okay, well, what about this then?
Oh, no, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. Because like I said, this website that I'm looking at is the one we use at work for background checks.
Yep. All
right, so Candace C. Bly, that's a married name we know. Candace Harper.
Harper. Not Hera, Harper.
Right.
Interesting.
Then Candace Harter, Harter. So we're messing up. Now, when someone says, oh, that's a typo from a magazine she ordered, shut up. She regularly used it. That's the reason it's showing up.
Exactly.
I've had misspellings of my name on stuff before. They don't show up as an alias.
Exactly.
So Harper, so we have Harrer, okay, that's her born name. Bly,
Mhm.
married. Harper,
Mhm.
Harter. Then a Celeste Labs, Laabs.
But Grandis doesn't have any aliases, apparently.
I'm counting, girlfriend.
um, this Celeste Labs is really interesting. Where the hell does that name come from?
That's what I'd like to know too. It has been rumored, okay? I don't
Mhm.
have any link, anything to back this up. Don't
Mhm.
come for me. We're having a conversation.
Yeah.
That she had a little bit of a history of being quite the single white female. So when
Mhm.
she would have a lucky lady in her sights, she
Yep.
would become quite obsessed and possessive of them. It
Shocker.
wouldn't surprise me if she didn't at one point use one of her girlfriend's names, whether it's for her to use for credit.
Uh-huh.
Um, they had maybe had utilities together. I don't know.
Really interesting, because the whole premise of Chris McDonough's show was that Grandus had charges and had several aliases. Now, there was a whole big thing erupted afterwards that Grandis didn't have any charges and that she didn't have any aliases. But in actual fact, what this proves today is that unless anyone's researched every single one of those aliases and can still say that Grandis has no charges, that's something to look into, is it not?
It's definitely
Celeste.
a conversation, don't you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd talk about this all day long. No, I don't care who I have to go back and forwards with. People can say Grandis didn't have any aliases. I think we've just shown that she quite clearly did. So let's be starting to look into those aliases if we want to prove that she doesn't have charges, That
And I
was the
guess
whole
she
premise.
does have some charges and they're sealed. I don't know what
Mhm.
they are. I don't think it's anything like armed burglary or anything like that. It's probably, it's probably the apple didn't fall far from the tree. And it's probably, good old neglect and endangerment, like just the way that these women know how to do it. I
Well,
don't know the charges.
there was some talk about and obviously it was just talked about, it wasn't proven, it hasn't been proven, that those charges related to domestic violence issues, which is also another thing that could be quite plausible, because if you look at the charges that Candice Bly, as in not Grandis, Candice Bly has got, those relate to domestic violence issues. So it's kind of, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it?
Ooh, I forgot about that. They did mention that there was some DV.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But anyway, I'm not saying that's proven or definite. I'm just saying that's what some of the talk around it has been. And obviously, if the charges are sealed, then we won't know. But the child endangerment one, Chris seemed quite adamant that that was on her, under one of her aliases, I guess. So,
I have a feeling they're going to be looking at these aliases a lot.
yeah. Well, they might have already.
They may-
This might not be new news to law enforcement. This might be just new news to us in that respect. I was just really interested in the fact that I've been told so many times that Grandis is whiter than white and cleaner than snow. And then when you look into it a bit more, you find out that why are these people so adamant when the evidence itself is there that she does have aliases. Chris wasn't lying. She does have aliases.
It's one Google search away. If
Mhm.
my dumbass can find it, anyone can.
Exactly. But no, it's too difficult. Apparently, there's certain websites that people are using where it just doesn't show up. And then obviously it doesn't exist because it's not showing up on the website they're using. This is just not that difficult. But
Mhm.
hey, I need to do my research, apparently.
Hello, Pat. Pat just came in. Pat
Hi,
skated in
Pat.
sorry. Pat skated in the back door. So yeah, she has used aliases. Okay. Now it's one thing if there was a mix up, and that name just never dropped off. Not that many. Come on, not that many. There's
No.
probably more.
And
There's
also, if you think
probably
about it, even without those aliases showing up, the fact that each single person involved in this whole entire case has at least 5 Facebook profiles says something, does it not? but they're all using 5 different Facebook accounts at least. Candace, Don, Grandis, they've all got more than one Facebook account each, but they were unlikely to have aliases. Is that what we're saying? I mean, come on.
That's something them in their Facebook accounts I've never understood. I mean, about every 18 months, Candace has an announcement. Sorry, you had to make a new account. She makes it sound like she's opening a new credit line.
Exactly.
Make a new account. If
Yep.
I try to make a sock account, Zuckerberg has sniffed it out within 30 minutes and it's shut down. These people don't even know which one to use. They've got some.
Well, it'll be quite interesting. I might start having a look at some of their aliases and their Facebook accounts. Just saying.
So, I mean, maybe these aliases have nothing to do with anything. I'm not convinced. I go with what Chris was saying because it makes perfect sense. He's not saying law enforcement hasn't looked into her. I think he's saying as a community, get off Jody Sue's ass, start looking back at the main people.
Suspects.
Don,
Absolutely. Oh my God, I'm so passionate about that. I'm so passionate about that right now. At the end of the day, the focus has shifted so far away from those 3 adults on that hill that it's almost become laughable. People were looking up a janitor that went to school with Don one day and might have a story to tell us about what happened with Don at school or some shit. And I'm like, God's sake, the 3 main suspects are up on that hill. How much further do you need to look, really?
Not too far. And I think a lot of people, with the course of everything we've talked about in almost 13 months, which is easy to do. I know I heard someone the other day and they're like, well, if there's no abduction, why was there ever an Amber Alert? I had to refresh someone's memory and I said, hey, it's okay. We forget these things. It was explained to us by the TBI that the way that they ask for an Amber Alert is basically when a child is not with who they're supposed to be with.
Right.
So it's different in my state. Just like it's different in Idaho. That's why there's Monkey's Law now. It's different in every state pretty much.
Yeah. Every state has their own criteria and their own means of determining which child gets an Amber Alert and which child doesn't.
And it causes mass confusion every time because people assume it's the same in every state. Humphrey, comment of the day. Why does a sweet, innocent granny need 5 aliases?
A sweet, innocent granny. I think we lost it. We lost you on that bit. But it's a good point. But go on, carry on. I just lost my thought.
Oh, me too. I'm all over the place. Before I get back to the clip, don't ever forget, that's what I was saying. Like I said, in the course of almost 13 months, which is Friday, that her brother is a very, very violent man. Whether he was ever around her children, her grandchildren, I'm talking about the fact that in her family, her brother, not a stepbrother, not a third cousin, her brother, William Hare, is an extremely dangerous, violent man.
Warren Hare.
Warren. Yep, that's him. Yep. No, sorry, William. Is it Warren? It's Warren.
Warren, yeah. Yeah, but that was the thing as well, is that he was never actually formally prosecuted, but he spent the majority of his time in an institution because he's considered to be so dangerous towards children.
Well, and he's under lock and key.
Right, exactly. There's no escaping that. There's no, pretending like, oh, it's not that bad. He wasn't convicted. He was put away because of the amount of danger that he posed to children, and especially familial danger, shall we say, rather than saying the I word. I think you can guess what I'm talking about.
Incest. Right. He is violent. He is so messed up in the head. He will. I'm still upset that they took him out of jail and put him in a halfway house. But Mark, that is her brother. That's her brother. I'm not saying she is like him. It is worth a conversation and a mental note when you're talking about Broke Knee, Nap, and Grandis. That is her brother. And she has 5 aliases.
The other thing I was going to say, and which I just lost my thought and I've just remembered it, but I don't know if it's a good time to say it now, is just that the abduction theory that John and Candace and obviously Grandis spewed at the beginning of all of this, that they've continued to bang the drum for all the way through, could have been easily proven, or not proven, it could have been easily backed up with the story of Jody Sue when she mentioned the scream. But Candice has come out and Donna's come out. I mean, he did talk to WJHL about the scream, blah, blah, blah. If there was one thing that was going to back up their theory, it would have been Jody Sue's scream. And yet all of them have come out and said that no one heard a scream apart from Jody Sue. I don't understand why they would put that as on the back burner, the three of them, if they really seriously believed it was an abduction.
What's always been odd to me about these geniuses, besides everything, is partially the scream. When it first came out and she decided to start doing her lives on Facebook talking about summer, odd, it took her about 2 months roughly.
Right.
And she talked about the scream. We all tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. We wanted to believe her because we thought, well, here's a crack in the case.
Right.
Somebody heard something go down.
Right.
One, I believe he was on Cher's channel. Don't quote me. I don't remember 100%. More than likely it was Cher's. And he said, oh, somebody said they heard a scream. That's just all bullshit. But then he starts computing in his little brain that fits their narrative.
Exactly.
So talking to when he was doing the dog trail thing, I think it's WVLT out of Knoxville. And he goes, and one of our neighbors heard a scream.
Yep.
So how can it be bullshit when you first hear about it? Because your first gut reaction is it's bullshit because you know it wasn't true. No, it wasn't true. But then you start doing some computing and you're like, this fits. This fits what I'm trying to sell. Right. So when you're talking to WVLT as you're struggling down the dog trail, that poor woman, we got to buy her a new pair of heels. And he says, the neighbor heard the scream.
Yep. And then Candice comes out and says, there was no scream. That's all bullshit on Ernie's panel. But you see, what they didn't seem to compute, these geniuses, is that if they had kind of backed that story from the beginning, that might have actually helped them to, say that their abduction narrative fits, but they never did. It's just really strange to me.
Oh, yeah, it is. Because they could have used that.
Exactly.
That's really what they were trying to sell. But one thing they forget, but they don't realize how important it is to people that, paid attention a little bit in school, is that the FBI card unit said no sign. That means none, zero, nada. That's not, well, we have a couple of indicators. It's none. None. It can't be more plain than that. No sign of an abduction. But they keep going on with it.
They keep going on with it and then they ruin their chances of actually being believed because they rule out things that other people have said that could actually back up their narrative. They honestly really are not geniuses at all.
No. So I'm going to play the rest of this genius clip.
It's the not knowing is what tears us up. It's the not knowing.
Back in November, her granddaughter's case received national attention on a two-part Dr. Phil episode, which is why Hare thinks her daughter Candice Bly has continued to shy away from the media.
I think it had to do a lot with Dr. Phil.
No.
The way it came out on Dr. Phil when she was out there. I wasn't.
No. I'm with you, Kat. No. We're not blaming Dr. Phil. If anything, Dr. Phil was too kind to your daughter. Lenient.
And
After
also,
I've watched it several times, I have a different take on it. I do think that he had pressing questions, and I think he got more out of her than something we're going to revisit. You guys know how we do here, but no, go ahead. You're thinking exactly what I'm thinking.
Before the Dr. Phil interview, Candice wasn't on any YouTube channels. She would never go on YouTube. You can only ever hear her in the background going, "Fuck Dawn, fuck you, Dawn," and then. Exactly. And then the Dr. Phil interview comes out. She gets a brand new hairdo, a set of new teeth, a couple of new sets of clothes and that. And she's all over YouTube. Oh, she can't wait to go on Squirrel Tit and all these other channels crying. Oh, I do want to tell what happened. I do want to tell it. She came out. She might not have spoke to the media, but she certainly came out to speak to YouTube channels after the Dr. Phil show. Act. She weren't shy.
Nope. The only act she didn't play is when she was intimidated and she lost it because she would not take her eyes off him.
Yeah.
She could see herself in his bald head. She would not take her eyes off him for a minute. Behavioral panel, when they started pressing her buttons, there's no freaking cornbread mafia. They were doing anything to get her to take some bait, something somewhere. She knew it. She knew they were blaming her. She starts ripping off wires, grabbing at that new jean jacket she had to sport for
Not
national.
helping me.
Not helping me. I just want to go home. Don't even want to go home. But then the next day, you're taking pictures with Spider-Man.
Yep. Yeah.
Did Spider-Man have summer?
Sorry.
Did Spider-Man have summer? Was summer in the pool when you went swimming with Benny?
Mm-hmm.
Where's your daughter, Candace?
She's not fucking shy, especially not after the Dr. Phil show. That gave her a confidence boost because she thought she got the fuck away with it the same way Don did. But she had never been really on YouTube before that moment. After Dr. Phil, she was all over fucking YouTube for weeks. In fact, probably still would be if she wasn't in hiding right about now.
I still wonder what made her stop YouTube altogether. A lot of people are like, I think she got sober. I hope she did. I have kind of hard for me to put my eggs in that basket, but anyway, I hope she did. I think something scared the shit out of her because I think in her drunken stupor, I think she let some stuff out that she knows she wasn't supposed to.
Yep.
And I think I'm just going to take a shot in the dark here. This is a conversation. I don't know for sure. Don't come after me. I think when Grandis heard the wonderful things she was spouting out on there, I think she told her, you need to stop. You just got done telling Cam that you're not happy with the script. You were on another channel saying you don't even know where Dawn was that day. That's a lot of information coming from the mother of a missing child that claims to not know what happened that afternoon.
Right. Yeah. She wasn't shy, especially when she was drunk. After that Dr. Phil, she would come out and say pretty much anything that was in her head. And it was getting dangerous in terms of what she could actually say while she was in that state. So I think you're right. I think she was told back the fuck off YouTube.
Somebody put the fear of God in her. Because she stopped.
Yeah. Well, she ran away, didn't she? She hid from the hill. I mean, maybe it was someone taking her up pizza and leaving it on top of her car or something. Maybe that was the straw that broke the camel's back. But I think it was something a bit more serious than that. Well,
from what I understand, that creator does want his $39 back for that pizza. She might want to get on that. No good deed goes unpunished. You got to pay the fiddler, Candace. He wants his pizza money back. He got nothing out of that.
Nope.
I think it hurt Candace in a way. I don't know if it's helped or not. I don't believe it has. Maybe it's gotten more attention out everywhere.
On June 15th, the day Summer was reported missing, Harris says she spent the entire day with her daughter and granddaughter. She says it started with a trip to the emergency room to have her knee checked out.
They prescribed me medication to get the swelling down out of my knee and around my knee because it was inflamed. And then we waited around for my prescription. Summer went swimming that day at the horse stables, I believe it was.
After the family returned home with groceries, Harris says she took a nap, woke up, and repotted cactus plants with her granddaughter. She says Summer ate a peppermint, went inside the house to play with her brothers, and that was the last time she was seen.
There was no sign of her.
Authorities say all possibilities of what happened to Summer are still on the table, but like the rest of the
Okay, so Miss Five Aliases. This is her encapsulation of the day. Now, she's talking to Ansley Daniels. She's not mentioning any tainted pop, a pill, had to call Dawn for permission to go to the ER. Funny, she forgot those lies, right? It is bad knee. I think she went swimming, and I took a nap. And that's the last I seen her. No. There is way more to that day than your knee and your nap, Sleeping Beauty.
Yep. Well, also, Ansley said that she said she spent the entire day with her daughter and granddaughter. Well, that's not true for a start, because at least the time that she was in the hospital where Candace went and picked Hunter up with Summer, she wasn't with Candace and Summer that day, was she? And then she doesn't remember where they went swimming, or they went swimming at the water hole, I think it was. Not we. She said they went. So she obviously wasn't there. So, you know, her thing that she spent the entire day with them doesn't even make sense, even on those levels.
Nope. The only thing she can stick with is that stupid cactus they talk about, which I still don't believe that. The peppermint, she went to get candy from Grandma. Okay, that was probably free from the Sonic.
What child's favorite candy is peppermint, please? I don't know one.
Yeah. Every time I go to Sonic to get my cherry limeade, I always get a peppermint. Every time I see it, I think that's all that kid had to eat that day. That is all that little girl had to eat.
And even then, we don't know if that's true. Right, we don't know if that's even true that she had a peppermint. She probably didn't even have that.
Good God. 5 aliases, sealed record, a brother we've talked about on this show many, many times, very criminally insane, violent, incestual brother. All she can say for the events of June 15th, bad knee, and that's all that woman's got for you.
Bad knee, peppermint, nap. That was the last time I saw her. That's how she talks about her missing 6-year-old, now 6-year-old granddaughter. That was the last time I saw her. Like she's having a cup of tea, or, you know, reading the newspaper or some other such random daily activity. And that was the last time I saw her. Any hint of concern or upset or devastation in your voice there, Grandis? Hell no.
She's bothered.
That was the last time I saw her.
She's bothered. She's inconvenienced. That's the last I've seen her. That's what she said. She shakes her head. She does her shoulders like she's shrugging it off. That's the last I've seen her. So don't bother me. I'm just her grandmother, right?
Yep.
I was one of the last people to see this little girl. One of the last. If not the last. We don't know. Chris brought up a very interesting discussion. How do we know Summer sat on that pillow? How do we know Grandis, who has the same demeanor as her daughter, didn't get pissed that day? Hunter said she was acting out of her mind.
Yep, she's crazy. That's what Hunter said.
She was acting crazy. Bell's family, Summer's grandmother, believes she was abducted.
We never did find her. She called 911 and she called Donnie, and we sent the boys down over the hill, and I stood in front of over by the edge there and watched them. And
you stood there and
praying to God every minute that nobody would take them.
For more than a
Oh, that's convenient to remember that at this juncture, isn't it? Because they've been saying that they sent the boys down to the creek since day one, and everyone's been saying, well, if your child's just gone missing, your grandchild's just gone missing, why would you then send 3 of your other children down the hill? Surely you'd be like, oh my God, one of my child is missing. Everyone else just stay here where we can keep it. No, they send their kids down to the creek, and she doesn't think to mention this until after 9 months. I stood there and watched them, because heaven forbid that someone take them too.
I do believe somebody sent the boys down to the creek, kept their heads turned for whatever was going on.
Right, but do you seriously think she stood there and watched them?
Oh yeah, when there's an abductor, someone just took in live daylight. Daylight, guys. Remember, TBI said early afternoon. The sun wasn't down.
Nope, not in
June,
certainly not. Yeah.
Barb said, thank you for the super sticker, Barb. Peppermint, but not the Skittles laying on the seat. Exactly. So think about that. You know what it's like for your daughter to go missing, as in Rose. They all know instantly that Summer has been abducted. No possibility that she wandered off in the woods. She fell down and got hurt somewhere out there. Nothing. No. Couldn't be in Grandma's camper. Couldn't have gone back upstairs. Abducted. All right. So, like I said, daylight. Early afternoon, because that's what TBI said. So we have someone so brazen as to go into the holler, come up on that property, grab Summer without making a peep, because that scream was unfounded.
Yeah.
Yet you send the 3 boys out, but you're keeping an eye on them, aren't you, Rambo? Because if anyone doesn't see those boys, you're going to come running down that hill and whoop some ass. Grandis?
Yeah, with your bum knee.
And I'm just hoping no one would take them too.
Wow, really?
Ooh, yeah.
I just don't understand how they think that any of this makes any sense to anyone with half a brain cell. Just makes me so mad. They make me so mad.
And then I always wonder, you know, when getting ready for this show, what could law enforcement be thinking? You know,
Right.
they could probably bite nails into they're so mad because they know. By now, they've got to know.
Yeah. And they know that this is some bullshit.
They do.
Because they're not stupid either. Despite how we may feel frustrated by the pace of the case or whatever, they're not looking for clues as to what happened to Summer now. They're looking at evidence to prove that the persons or person or persons that they have in mind did what they believe happened. That's what they're looking for now.
100%. Kiko says common sense would tell you their first thoughts would be she was lost.
Exactly.
They never consider that.
Thank you.
Never consider that. Muscles and Mascara, thank you for the super sticker.
Oh, thank you, Muscles.
Thank
that was
you.
nice. We love you too.
We love you too, Muscles. And Helen says abduction gives chance for recovery and ... Think about that from the get. When Dawn was talking to Jeff Bobo from the Rogersville Review, June 18th, 2021. She's just gone, buddy. She's gone, buddy.
Yep.
Was. She was.
Abduction. The resurrection.
Abduction has an end to it, meaning she's still alive and she's coming home.
Yep. Oh, I think I have a dream. I think she's with that nice lady down the hill, down the road. I'll see her in the resurrection. These are all things that Don was saying around the same time he was trying to convince people that she'd been abducted. I'll see her in the resurrection.
Well, I tell you what, if someone abducted my child, we wouldn't be talking about the resurrection. I'd be like, I'm going to meet them in hell.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
There'd be no resurrection. Well, girlfriend, awesome as always. I am so glad you got to come up on panel. I know you have an appointment to get to, and I do too. We are going to continue this conversation, guys. So buckle up because we got a lot more to say about this.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Brooks. It's been absolute joy. I love coming up on panel with you, and I will see more of you guys.
When you come up, you are such a huge part of this channel that people don't even realize. I'll talk to you over in Discord when we get done with our running around for the afternoons, okay?
Okie dokie. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Big hand of applause, big round of applause for our friend Kat. If you're not subbed to her channel, get over there and sub up. Great videos. She stays on focus, doesn't go into rumors, BS, speculation. She leaves you no room to guess, much like this show, because we stay on topic as much as we can. It's kind of hard when we're all friends and shooting the shit, if you know what I mean. So in the meantime, I'm going to shut this down. Going to be back tomorrow. You're going to love the show tomorrow. Again, thank you for being here yesterday for the Dylan Rounds case. Going to continue that as well. We have a lot of interesting shows coming up over the next week. So we're probably going to get back to our 2-a-days next week, I believe, now that I'm feeling better. Got a little bit of energy left, getting my energy back, which is a good feeling. And appreciate you guys all being here. Say it every day. I mean it every day. You are the best community on YouTube and definitely the best chat. See you over on the Facebook group or see you in Discord. And if I don't catch you, see you in here tomorrow. Bye-bye, guys.